Sophie Brown, a 15-year-old, is missing from Crossville, Tennessee. On December 6th, she boarded a Greyhound bus without family approval and went to Albuquerque, New Mexico. She was further traced to Laguna, New Mexico. The family traveled there, where the Pueblo of Laguna police forced the family to leave the Indian reservation. If you've seen Sophie Brown or have any information, call the Crossville Police Department at 931-484-7231. Let's bring Sophie.
We are here with the mother of Sophie Brown. Can you tell us a little bit about Sophie?
Sophie's 15 years old, and she has a very, very good heart to her. But she's been doing a double life, and I wasn't aware of how serious that other side was. But anyway, she's a pretty girl too, and she can outlive the man.
And can you tell us about her disappearance?
I had her sister, which is 26 years old, and their three kids, which were 1, 4, and 7. And I thought that I had moved them here, and they had been here a week, and she had put the kids in school, got their insurance and things. And as far as I knew, everything was going fine. And the day of the 6th, the school called me, and they said the guidance counselor said that one of the children had came up there and told her that Sophie had been saying that she was going to be running with her sister to Michigan sometime that weekend. And I didn't have any reasons not to trust Jamie. I trusted her completely. And so when I hung the phone up, I asked her, I said, so that was the school. And they said that you and Sophie were going to go running away to Michigan. And she goes, no, 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 no. She says, I'll watch Sophie. I said, okay, it was another set of eyes. Well, that night I had to leave to go get Elijah, my son, at a friend's house, and I was gone 15 minutes. And I came back home with him, and Jamie, the 26-year-old, meets me at the door carrying the baby and says she's gone. And I said, what do you mean she's gone? I said, you were watching her. She said, the only thing I did was I came in here and cut an apple up for the kids, and I went back in the bedroom and she was gone. And so I ran back there, and the screen was out of the window. The clothes were all over the place. And I thought, 15 minutes. And so I jumped in the car, me and my son, and I went over to her friend's house from school because I took her home before. And she didn't have her phone for the whole day because her father had took it. And the police questioned her later, but she said she didn't know anything. So I came back home, and Sophie and the kids were gone. And I was like, I called her and texted, and we only talked maybe a couple of times. All of it's on text, where she said that she had a friend come pick her up, and they were out looking for Sophie. And Sophie was suddenly she's behind a red Honda, has no license plate. She's pretty sure Sophie's in that. Then she loses her. And then she gets behind her again. And then as it goes on, she's texting me and she says, she got on a bus. And I'm thinking, how in the world how come you didn't stop her if she got on the bus? And the whole time I'm telling her, call the police, call the police. So then she says that she's following the bus. Then the next thing, they're in West Virginia. And this is Tom. And Tom just keeps going. And and she says that she's called the police. She got off the bus. She called the police. She had Sophie watch her kids while she went to the bathroom. She came back and Sophie took off. And she says she didn't want to come back home. And um, I said, get a hold of the police. And she says, I have. And she says, they're supposed to be calling you any time. And then she would ask me later, did they call? And no. And she says, well, they haven't contacted me either. I'm coming. I'm on my way home. I said, okay, I'll leave the door open. I'm sorry, I got COVID. And she um it went on until Sunday. No. What she did was she goes and she uh she says she's coming home. Okay, well, she didn't come home. And I had went into the bedroom that was on Sunday, and I had started taking the sheets and everything off the beds to wash. And I looked down and the shoes aren't in where they were lined up at. There was just a couple there, and her high heels were gone. And it just hit me when I saw that. And I went over to the drawers and I started opening the drawers. There's no clothes. And I text her and I tell her, I said, Sophie is with you. I said, you tell Sophie to call me now. She says, I don't have Sophie. She says, I don't know what you would think that. She says, I've got these kids. I wouldn't jeopardize my kids doing something like that. And so she said, I'm just going to stay at a friend's house for a couple of days until you calm down. And I'm like, I'm not calm. And so anyway, that went on and I really didn't hear from her anymore. And it came Monday. And of course, I had talked to the investigators when it came Monday. And Monday night is when the investigator called me. He said that they had um, pinged. Sophie had a phone. She wasn't even supposed to have a phone because she can't stay off social media because she can't stay off talking to men. And I've got probably about 4 or 5 in the safe that I've took away from her. I think one is still at the police station. And anyway, she comes up with these phones. So anyway, they pinged the number that I got, and it was in Albuquerque just on the outskirts of the Air Force Base. And they talked to her, and I don't remember what she said at the beginning, but the ending is what I remember was that she said, "Catch me if you can," and then clicked it. And then she turned it completely off, and they couldn't ping it anymore. Well, it was um, couple of well, they found out too because they went to the reservation. The investigator Indian went to the reservation. They talked to Sophie and Lauren. Jamie was back to work on that Monday, and she had the kids back in school there. And um, she said, the last I saw Sophie was when she got off the bus at the bus station in Albuquerque. She says, I have no idea where she's at. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. And I just knew that Jamie lives in a cesspool. And what I mean by that is she has no morals. And I thought she had straightened up, but She has a husband, the 3 kids, but she also has her boyfriends and her girlfriends. And I thought that she would drop her off at one of her friends' house in Albuquerque. So I decided I would, she had drained me a lot uh, financially. So I got bus tickets. I spent 2 days on the bus going back to Albuquerque. I rented a car when I got there. And I went to the reservation. I sat there for 4 hours that day, and there's nowhere that you can hide in a reservation. And they finally saw me, and and it was even Jamie that ventured down the hill, and she called the res police on me, and they came and talked to me, and that's where they told me that they asked me if I was Indian, and I said I'm not, Sophie's not, and Jamie's not. I said she's just married to Lauren. And so they go and they check the house, and there's nobody, or Sophie's not in there, they say. They come back and tell me I have to leave. And so I did. And then the next day, I went to the police station, and I tried to find the investigators there. Of course, this is Christmas week when all this has to happen. And of course, everybody's off and everything. But I did finally talk to somebody that looked it up, the case number, because at first they couldn't even find that there was a Sophie missing. And finally, after I sat there for I don't know how long and talked to different people, um, they finally got it. And then they said that I would have to talk to the investigator again. Okay, so then that night I went back home and I started calling the FBI, calling the missing persons. The um, the next day I called the U.S. Marshals, and everything I had to do, I had to start it again with the with the investigator here. So a little bit later, I came home, and I have not talked to. Oh! I left this out. Before I left, I went back to the reservation, and I went and I thought if I could just talk to the mom, even though she's different, and mother to mother, and I went and I knocked on the door, and the only car was there was hers. And I thought, okay, good. So I went and I knocked on the door, and it was a wooden door, a complete wooden door. And asked me who it was, and I said, Marlene. And she goes, who? And I said, Marlene. And she goes, we're not allowed to talk to you. I said, why aren't you allowed to talk to me? She says, because of everything you're doing to Jamie. And I said, I haven't done anything to Jamie. I haven't even talked to Jamie. And so anyway, she's like, well, I can't talk to you. I said, let me tell you something. I said, she has talked about you like you were an ogre. I said, and she has said that you have been mean to her. You have took money away, stole money from her. You have not, she's not been eating the way she's supposed to here. And I said, let me ask you, I said, did she say that she was moving to Crossville? She said, absolutely not. She was not planning on moving. And I was just like, and then this dog that they had, he kept barking and getting closer and barking and barking. And then I couldn't hear what she was saying. She couldn't hear what I was saying, and she wasn't going to open the door. And so I just started bawling, and I told her, I said, the only thing I want is Sophie. That's all. And I said, ask the children. I said, they've seen everything, they know everything. I said, just ask them about it. They'll tell you. So anyway, I went down the road and I thought that it was Jamie or Lauren that was in the car. So I turned around and I came back and it was a neighbor. But I saw the mother out on the porch and she had her hands on her hips like she was just thinking. And I thought, please, please think. And um and I left. And I came back home. I got and then on that next week, I got a hold of the investigator. That week was New Year's week, and of course, everybody was out and everything. And so I patiently waited, and I did. I finally heard from different ones, and I got a hold of the investigator when I came back. And now this week,
Okay, so you did mention she had a double life. What do you mean by that?
at home. She knew um, she would well, at school, she would buy vapes and she would say, I'm not, I don't smoking vapes. I'm not. And I can't tell you how many vapes empty that I found when I'd clean her room out. And she was on probation at the time. She wasn't to have the phone. She wasn't supposed to have vapes. And she also, I didn't find this out, but the friend that I went over to her house had told me, she says, did she tell you that we had been dating for 3 months? And I said, what? And she said, yeah. She said, we have been dating for 3 months. She said, I told my mom. She says, and she didn't tell you. I said, no. And I'm like, what else do I not know? And so, yeah. And she'd been going out, sneaking out her window at night still. I thought she was in her room. Her brother's room's right next door to it. And he didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. And she's done this before. And yeah.
Gotcha. Now, you said, do you believe she's with your other daughter?
Well, the thing of it is, the girl, I kept in contact with her, and I asked her a couple of days ago. I said, if you will do me a favor, and I said, anything, if you see anything, because Sophie blocked her. Uh, she contacted her and told her that she had found another girlfriend there and that she was breaking up with her. And then after that, she said she cut off all communication with Sophie did. So found out that a friend of Sophie's, another friend, and this girl knows her, had been talking to Sophie. And Sophie had been printing to her that she was with her sister and she was um um the things they were doing. She says, but she put it in private mode and so she wasn't able to see anything else. Now she told me this
Okay.
last night and she sent me pictures where Sophie has started a Facebook called not so Opie Brown. She leaves the S off and it's got a picture of the background of the apartment. I'm pretty sure it's the apartment she might be living at. And I could find that if I was in Albuquerque. I know I could find that. But anyway, here I am.
Have they pinged your other daughter's phone to see where she's been?
Oh, she's been at work.
Okay.
And, I don't know. I keep telling them if somebody would just go talk to her and make her realize I want to go after her for kidnapping. You know, she should
Right.
she should have to. I mean, she took her through how many states? And
Yes. Was it ever confirmed she bought a bus ticket?
well, yeah, she had to because she didn't have any money. Sophie would have had to. I mean, Jamie would have had to bought the ticket for her.
Okay, so or did Jamie have a vehicle?
No,
No. Okay. Uh,
That's where she said that friend picked her up.
right. Okay.
So
Now, was there any surveillance footage at either of these bus stations?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know they have them. They've transferred probably 3 or 4 times too at that many bus stations on the way there because that's what I went through.
Okay. And you don't know if they pulled any of the surveillance cameras?
I have no idea.
Okay.
do you
Um,
know if they confirmed that Sophie or Jamie had a bus ticket?
I have no idea. I know, only thing I know is I've got, um, 'cause so Jamie went and even opened up a bank account. And her name is Jamie Marlene. Mine is Mary Marlene. So anyway, I guess there is a thing on there for $845. And there's no way she could have flew because Sophie would have had an ID. And I've got her ID with her social security card and her insurance card in my billfold. So there's no way that they could have done that. They would have had to took a bus, or somebody would have had to take them.
other than her sister being out in Albuquerque, does she have any other family members or friends out there?
No, no. She has. We lived in Chalma for 6 years, but that's like 3 or 4 hours away. And I had friends in Albuquerque, but those friends were their friends, and they don't have anything to do with them.
Okay.
So Sophie has never been to the reservation before
No,
that you know of.
the only time was when we went to visit Jamie, um, probably about a year, um, within a year ago. We went and I stayed at the casino there on the reservation. That's where she got us a room, and we visited the mom, and saw the conditions they lived in and everything. And yeah, that's the only time.
Has she ever left home before?
Yes, she's ran away several times.
Okay. I do not have any more questions. Jessica, do you have any more?
Does Jamie live with her husband on the reservation, or does she live by herself?
Oh no, she lives with the mother, the uh, brother-in-law, the sister-in-law, her husband, the 3 kids, and her. She lives there. I think she probably would live there when she's working, and then she'll go to her boyfriend's house or girlfriend's house other times. And that's what I figured she was, why she would left Sophie with them.
And how was the relationship with Jamie and Sophie before they left?
Well, they were like brother and sisters. You know, uh they loved each other. So or Jamie had, Sophie was a baby when she was little, and she, um they were they were just no problems that I knew of.
And Jamie got Sophie off of the bus at one point, and then she took off again.
Right. Supposedly that was what she told me in the text, that when she was fibbing to me the whole time.
Okay. And do you know if Sophie left with any sort of money whatsoever?
No, but she did take her brother's PlayStation. She took his iPad, and um, she took the controllers. She took my charger. Um, and we also tried to find her through that PlayStation, but she's really good when it comes to computers and things, and she made it where we couldn't find it.
Have you tried to find my iPad through Apple?
No, it was just a Chinese made iPad. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's been no activity on that phone that they had pinged since they talked to her on the phone, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
How often are you in contact with the investigators?
Um, well, the investigator, I went Monday, I left a message, and then he didn't call me back. So I went to the office, and they told me then that he was on vacation. And so it was later on that day that the marshal from Nashville called me and got info. And then I sent him the info that was sent to me from the girlfriend last night. And I talked to him today to this morning to make sure he got it and understood what was going on. And he said that he had transferred all that to New Mexico's marshals.
Okay. And then my last question is just before Jamie moved in with you, she had been living in New Mexico previous to that, correct?
Yes, now she told me she was living with a girlfriend, and that and with her kids, and um and she had left there to get on the plane to come home. But I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what she was telling me, what she's true and what's not.
Right.
Did you have you checked for any community questions? If not, I've got it up. I can
Yeah,
look.
please. I did not bring my phone up with it.
Just a second.
Let's see if I can get it this way.
Hold on, there's lots of comments. I just want to make sure that I.
Ah.
Okay, it looks like we.
On Monday. On that was 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, the 9th of December.
Looks like we've got all the community questions.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Is there any other questions? Because I'm trying to look at it and I can't find. Okay.
And do you have where would you direct people that had any information about Sophie's whereabouts?
Um, either to contact me or contact the marshals there in Albuquerque. I just feel like I need to be doing more, and I'm, with everything, being so slow paced because of the holidays and everything. But I don't know what to do. But anyway, yeah.
And if Sophie happens to be watching this, is there anything that you would like to tell her?
Yeah, that I know she's got some problems, and and, you know, we need to deal with them, and so she can have a life. You know, she's got to go to school to be able to have a life. And I don't want her to end up on the streets or uh, doing things that she's not supposed to earn money.
I want to thank you
Alright,
for your
well-
time today.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for being. here,
We
boys, and
appreciate
taking
you.
the time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.